Say hello to Midnight. Say hi, Midnight. Hi. I'm sorry, I disturbed him from his precious little sleep. Okay, so in today's video, we're just gonna do a nice cozy little chat about my cat. Because I love him and he comforts me and we keep each other company through this crazy, crazy world. So yeah, let's get into it. So apologies for the lighting, but to be honest, so I kind of purposely wanted the lighting to be a little lower. In fact, I might actually close those curtains real quick. I just wanted it to be nice low lighting, nice chillax, comfortable vibes today. So this is Midnight. Don't worry, we also haven't forgotten about the doggo over there, which is, I was gonna call him by the other dog's name. It's Titan. The other dog, which is upstairs in bed, he is Cooper. So yeah, it's a house chock-a-block full of pets. I was the kind of kid that thought that he could talk to animals and thought that he could hear them talking back. So I'd be walking around the town with my best friend at the time, and the two of us would just be spotting cats everywhere and just being like meowing to them, thinking that we understood their language. I know. I know. I know it's cute to think back on that kind of stuff, to be fair, it's cute. But I've always been obsessed with animals, particularly cats. I've always felt like a cat. When I was a kid, I've done a lot of cat-like things. That maybe sounds quite strange, but kind of is, I guess, to be honest. Like for example, there were times when I think it always, looking back, it was always like during like kind of like higher stress times. But yeah, when I was a kid, sometimes I would end up just sleeping on the floor, rolled up in a ball like a cat. I didn't even like have any cushions under me or anything, like just sleeping on a wooden floor, thinking that I was a cat, and for some reason I just felt so comforted by that. To be honest, it was probably like a grounding thing, because even nowadays when I feel really overwhelmed, I just get the need to like sit on the floor, and that apparently is like a grounding kind of thing. But in my mind, I was Halle Berry from Catwoman, which, by the way, is my favorite Catwoman movie. I know, controversial. When I was a kid, I would also eat tuna out of the tin without like anything added to it, just a fork and the tin, because that's also what Halle Berry did in Catwoman. Also, Midnight, I got that name from that movie, so it's like, dang, that movie really did have quite an impact on little gay old me. My first cat that was actually like different from like the typical stereotypical cat was Mystique, and she was like a very homely cat as well, and she always loved to be around. She was very similar to Midnight actually. I think she's Midnight reincarnated, or she's reincarnated as Midnight, to be honest. Cats have always come to me as well. Like, there's never been a point where I've gone out of my way to like obtain a cat. It's always been someone has brought them to my door, or they themselves have like come to my door. For example, an old cat that we used to have, Mystique, she was a very homely cat. She was very like territorial and homely, and when she was a kitten, she came to our window, to this windowsill, and she was just meowing for ages. And as a little kid, I was so excited and begging my parents. I was like, please, please, can I have that? Can I have it? Can I keep it, please? And they were like, oh, I don't know. Like, we don't know who owns it. Like, we don't know if it's owned, or if it's feral, or like where is its mother, etc. So they were just like, okay, fine, you can keep it in the shed, but like obviously it had a way to escape out of the shed during the night as well. But keep it in the shed during the night to kind of keep it safe. And if its mother hasn't come to get it, and if it hasn't gone away by the next morning, then you can keep it. And she was still there the next day, meowing at me, and she stayed with us. She stayed with us till the very end. But that's just an example of cats always coming my way. We got Midnight here about 5 years ago. It was kind of like in the first kind of year of COVID. He's about that age as well. We got him when he was very young. So he's probably turning 6 this summer, I would say. I wish I knew his birthday. It would be really cool if I could actually celebrate the actual day that he was born. It was a funny story how we got him as well, because I was basically just chilling in my bedroom. It was COVID summer, so there was nothing that we could really do. So I was just playing with makeup, and it was the time of TikTok as well. Well, I mean, people are still mad about TikTok, but I've long gone from that. But anyways, yeah, so I was just messing around with makeup, listening to music in my room, and then all of a sudden there was a knock on the door. So I answer, and there's 2 girls there holding 2 cats in their hands. And I'm just like, hello. And they're like, do you want a cat? And I'm like, yes. Oh my god, thank you. So I just took one of them. At first I took Midnight, and then not too long afterwards I also took his sister, and I called her Lara. And they got on really well. At first I got just Midnight because I was thinking like one cat would be loads. But I kind of started to feel a little bit bad, like that he was by himself. So then I was like, okay, we can get his sister for some company. And because I knew that she was already up for adoption, so they were just waiting for someone to take her, basically. And I'm the kind of person that sort of like gets in my head, and it just like, I just can't stop thinking about the fact that it's possible that nobody will actually end up taking the cat, and then who knows, that person might do something horrible. Like, I hate to even admit that that's even a reality, but we all know it is, unfortunately. I obviously would never, ever, ever harm an animal. I cannot. That even goes without saying, honestly, but it should go without saying, but still. I cannot trust a person that doesn't like pets. I just don't understand it. I truly cannot understand it. Like, I get it if you don't want to have pets because of like real reasons, like fair enough, but or if you have a fear, I get that too. But okay, anyways, I'm on a tangent. So we got Midnight and Lara, and it was such a lovely little year, because they were just so playful with each other. I got so many videos of them, so many TikToks and stuff. And I just really loved the whole vibes of that. We got both of them neutered straight away. He's on the move. But yeah, we got both of them straight away. Neutered straight away. And it's a really funny story with that as well, because with Lara, the whole thing went perfectly fine. It was grand. But with Midnight, of course, there was an issue. The vet called me while he was in surgery and basically said that he could only get one of the testicles because the other one hadn't dropped yet. So I put him in too young to get neutered, basically, and the vet hadn't really copped until it was too late. So he said that he would redo the surgery for free, but unfortunately my own mental health shit kind of came in. But he is neutered now, and everything should be fine in that regards. And at least Lara was neutered, so nothing happened there, because as odd as it is, that kind of stuff does actually happen within cat families with siblings. I know it's very freaking weird, but cats are cats. Also, can you hear him breathing? But yeah, my own mental health kind of stuff came in, unfortunately, and I just didn't get him neutered for a few years. And then eventually when I did get him neutered, I actually had to pay for it again, so I've paid twice for him to be neutered. Definitely don't be like me and just like make sure that you get them neutered straight away, even if there's an issue. Because like obviously I did try to get them neutered, and then there was a problem, and then I just couldn't go back because of my own mental health stuff that kind of really got in the way. But that, you know, may have resulted in him actually becoming a father, which is so strange to think about. And also just, you know, the whole ecosystem and ecology of my town, you know, I don't like the idea that I might have had a negative impact on my town's ecology or ecosystem because of not neutering my cat. So please neuter your pets. It's also just good for their health as well. But we'll talk about some differences that I've noticed in them since his neutering in a while. Eventually, Lara ran away, which, you know, unfortunately that is just a reality of being a cat owner, especially when you let them be outdoor/indoor, which is what this guy is. He's always loved to be outside, and then he always loves to come back in when it's time for food and some affection, and then he loves to go right back out again for a little bit of hunting and gallivanting all over the town, whatever the hell he does. I don't know what the hell he gets up to. Sometimes I would actually love to like put a little GoPro camera on him and see where he goes, but the only thing is that I would be a little bit afraid that he might, that whatever like I attached the GoPro to on him might get caught on something, and then he might get stuck somewhere. That's why I've never put like a collar on him. I wouldn't put a collar on an outdoor cat. It just, cause it happened before when I was a kid. When my cat, I've had cats like all throughout my life basically. But when I was a kid with one of my first cats, I'd done that, and the exact thing happened. Like, I'd seen it when we let it out the back. It got caught in a branch, so I was like, okay, we're not letting that happen again. I do not want my cat to, like, you know. There's a funny little memory that I got there as well. On the first night when I got midnight, I obviously, like, I wasn't prepared to have a cat because the cat just came to my door. So I was there with like boxes and like making loads of makeshift toys out of things like toilet papers and tissues and rubber bands and all that kind of stuff. And then I was trying to think of like where is he going to be sleeping. So he slept in my bed, which was a double bed, but I was still so cautious that I might end up rolling on top of him during the night because he was so small. But obviously, thankfully, that didn't happen. And I've done that with like pretty much all of the cats that I've owned. When they were kittens, they'd be in the bed with me, and it's always the same kind of worry that I'd roll on top of them, but I never move when I'm asleep. I'm pretty much like, a lot of times I'll wake up with like a dead, like pins and needles in my head and stuff because I just haven't actually moved. I just love the idea of just like being so cuddly with them, especially when they're that young and they've just been taken away from their mother. Like, I'm very aware of that kind of fact. And also with this fella, he was actually taken away from his mother a little bit early, and that wasn't my fault. Like, if it was up to me, I would have let him stay longer, but they were just saying like, we need to get rid of these cats now, and that's that, you know. And if I said no, who knows where he would have gone or what would have happened to him. So for me as well, I kind of don't like the idea of saying that I own a pet, because in my mind, I don't own him. Like, I'm just responsible for him. He has the autonomy to make decisions and do what he wants, and I don't force him into, well, I force him into diets. I have to force him into a diet since he got his neutering, but we'll get onto that. But yeah, if it's something that like is actually necessary for his health, like bringing him to the vet when he needs to, I will force that upon him, obviously, because that just has to happen. But, you know, just other things like that, like, I like him to have decisions in his life, and I think he likes it too. Yeah. So let's move on to talking a little bit about his personality. So he is a not so playful kitten or cat. He is quite chill. He is very, very affectionate. He loves cuddles. He loves to be the center of attention. He loves to be on your lap all the time. He's a lap cat for sure. He doesn't have the strongest like hunting instincts or anything like that. only yesterday actually he caught a mouse, and that was like the second time within the last year that he's actually hunted, or that I've seen it anyways. It was really weird though, because the mouse was still there out the back this morning, and I was watching as a sparrow carried the corpse away. The circle of life, baby. But I'm always happy, like I'm always proud or glad when I see him hunting, because I know that that's a thing for them anyways. Like when they bring back, like, I'm not entirely sure the psychology of it, to be completely honest, but like it seems like a thing that they're really proud of and showing off when they bring back a thing that they've hunted. It's almost like a trophy or something. I used to like pretend. I used to be like, "Oh, look at you!" Like, but now I'm just like, "Okay, yeah, it's just that's just there. That's just there. Nature does its course." He's quite a vocal cat as well, and I almost really trained him to be that way. He used to get into a lot of fights as well, and he'd be coming home with loads of scratches and scrapes and scabs and stuff like that. Just like open wounds, things that I would have to keep clean with saline water, and once or twice I had to bring him to the vet for it as well. The vet herself said like that you can't be bringing him every single time that he gets into a fight, because you would first of all be poor, and second of all there's not a lot that you can do about like little infections other than just saline. But there was a time more recently when I had a thought that he actually broke his paw. I was in a pretty bad way because, well, first of all, like, I didn't want him to be having a freaking broken anything, and second of all, money. Money, 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 money. That is the thing when it comes to pets. That is, honest to God, this is my advice for you if you're thinking about having pets. Pets are amazing. They are the best company. They truly are. But there are some, just like two things to really, really consider before getting a pet. And I mean really consider it. Like, think about your life 10 years from now, not just like next year. Like, these pets are going to be here for a long time, hopefully. So, anyways, the two bits of advice is, first of all, really think about the fact of that you cannot travel unless you have somebody to take care of that animal, or unless you can bring them as well, which can be very stressful. I've never done it with him. I've done it with dogs. It's a different story with dogs. It's a bit easier with dogs because cats are they're very like territorial. They do not like to go out of their comfort zone and their space that they know. But yeah, so you just really need to make sure that like you know that you're going to be there for them. I know sometimes people don't have the option, like they just don't. But that's cruelty in my mind. That is complete cruelty to abandon a cat that you've had your entire life. So just be really aware of that, like that you're forming a bond with this thing. And then the second thing is money, 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 money. When things go wrong, you need to make sure that you have money there. It is not cheap. It's great though. Ever since I've gotten him neutered, he hasn't been bothered with fighting at all. He also hasn't really been roaming around all that much. Like, he'll still go outside, but he really won't go very far a lot of the times. Like, I could just call him and he'll be like in a bush or something, and he'll come running. Like, whereas in the past, like, he could have been anywhere in the town. I honestly don't know. He is also, of course, a food lover. He's a food lover. There's been so many times he's never been underweight anyways. He's definitely been his normal weight, but I'd say majority of his life he's always been a little bit over. and I'm always coming and going with giving him diets and stuff like that, but he is just food obsessed. Like, if I don't give it to him, he'll find it some way. Like, even now, since getting a new Erd, I have really noticed it in him. It's something that I'm very cognizant of, because his like, it is a thing with cats when they get neutered, their metabolism drops significantly. So I'm just really aware of that fact, and really trying to monitor that, because I really don't want him to become like extremely overweight. Like, he would be classed as overweight right now, but it doesn't seem very unhealthy. It's still, I would definitely like to bring it down, and I am trying. But he is a little fecker when it comes to food, because only last night he knocked his dry food off of the fridge and into the dog's water bowl. The night before, he was licking oil off of a tray. Like, I have to go around the house constantly looking at everything that he could possibly get at, because if he can, he will. He's such a fecker. And he also hasn't gotten into a single fight since his neutering, which is huge. That's a really, really big improvement, because it would have been like a very, very common occurrence, like very common. He is also just a little bit more clingy now. He was always clingy, but he's even a little bit more now, which is nice. There's a part of me that does feel slightly bad about the fact that I took away his natural kind of drive in life, because he's obviously not roaming around because he's not looking for a female anymore. He's not fighting anymore because there's no competition. So like that, I can sense that loss in him, and that is a little sad to me. But what the benefits of that outweighs that in my mind. Like, the fact that he's not like, the fact that I'm not worried about him coming home like with his leg hanging off, or that he'll like go really far and like end up getting lost. It's also apparently good to like help prevent cancer for them as well. We are both navigating post neutering life together, so I have increased his play times, because like for a couple of years there, really, I would have hardly played with him, to be completely honest, just because he was always out. He would never even look to play, really. He always just seemed happy out, and then once he got neutered, then he started to seem bored. So then now, like, we play daily. It took a while, honestly. It took like a good 3 weeks to really figure it out, and I could say honestly, I still not fully figured out like what he loves and doesn't love about playing. I do know that he loves his like pattern is usually like in the morning and the evening. He's not as much of a player during the day, but there are some days where he goes mad during the day. But he never gets the zoomies. I would love to see him get the zoomies, because I always hear about people with their cats getting the zoomies, and I do see it with my dogs. They get the zoomies, and I just love to see him go mad. I'd love to see him just go wild. He seems very shy. He's like, even when he was a kitten, when he'd be playing and then all of a sudden like another pet would come along, he'd like stop, and he would just kind of like, he'd just look really shy. Like, even when I play during his preferred play times, he can still get bored very quickly when we're playing, so you have to really switch up the pattern and the behavior of which you're using the toys and stuff, which I guess is probably good for me as well, because like, honestly, I can get bored as well when I'm just kind of waving something around, so you have to, like, it makes sense to just kind of like make it a little bit more fun for both of you, so it's a little bit more engaging. Because I do think like that he actually likes the fact that he's playing with me while he's playing, because he doesn't really like those like solo interactive toys. He much prefers, like, say when I have like a wand or something, or I'm actively playing with him, like that's when he'll usually respond better. Even at that though, it's usually very short-lived. So I'm trying now to kind of like do short outbursts, stop, leave it for like a few minutes, and then maybe come back and see if he wants to go again for a short outburst, or just leave it all together, because you also don't want to like overdo them on like one specific toy, because they can get bored of that too. I know they're such picky little feckers, they get bored so easily. But yeah, I'll show you one or two of his favorite toys. Oh, you can see his head perked up. So this is a feathery kind of one. This is probably his least favorite. I'm not quite sure. He's not as mad about like birds and stuff. He's definitely more into like the prey animals, like mice and stuff like that. This one he loves. This is definitely his favorite one. These would usually be attached to a wand as well, by the way. But yeah, he loves this little worm one. His favorite way to play as well is when I put this under something. So like underneath things, and then he'll go mad jumping on top of it and everything and trying to like get in under. When he can like clearly see the thing, he's not as interested. Now he's gonna prove me a liar. Jesus Christ, that was Thor. He got right under my freaking nail. Then he has his little dill, which I call his dildo. And that is full of catnip. So I'm a little bit cautious with catnip. I don't really want to overdo him with it. Not because I think it's a drug that he can get dependent on or anything like that. It's just something that I feel like I shouldn't overdo. Sometimes he likes to just cuddle that as well. That's the kind of one that he loves to kick. He loves to be on his back and then kick it. With catnip as well, he doesn't go like, catnip doesn't make him go crazy either. He's just not a crazy cat. But yeah, it just makes him like stare into space and then just go to sleep. I've also recently just got one of those cat capsule bags, so I walk around the town with him now, on the front of me. I really wasn't sure at first what way he would actually respond to it, but he actually honestly really liked it from the start. He was quite chill about it. And now when he's in there, he'll just be looking around the whole time. Like this morning, the two of us went for a walk at 7 and we were admiring the horses. So it's not really a thing in my mind anymore that it's like, oh, I feel so bad that he doesn't have like another cat to keep him company, because I genuinely don't think he actually wants another cat around. I think he's more than happy to be the only cat in the house and to have the full monopoly on that. I also thought I'd just show one of my hats. It says the cat father. I got complimented on that in public once. By 2 grown men as well. 2 grown men complimenting another grown man about his cat hat. But yeah, I think that's kind of covered most of like his personality and what he likes and dislikes, and I think he got like a nice little picture of what his life is like. He has a huge backyard, by the way. Like, I live in a very rural town in Ireland, and it's more fields than houses. So now that we've talked about the present and the past, why don't honestly, this guy is going nowhere, and I'm going nowhere, so we are together for life. No matter what happens, we're stuck together. I don't care. No, I literally mean it. No matter what, there is nothing that could actually, there is nothing that could get in the way of me holding on to this cat. I swear to God. Genuinely, the only thing that could is if he decides it himself. Which I would be absolutely heartbroken if he did, honest to God, I really would be, and I would be so surprised. I really doubt it, because I've had cats in the past, like plenty of cats that have eventually just gone. I don't know what has happened to them, whether, I don't know, that have gone, and I don't know, I don't know where they went or what they did, but it wasn't as much of a surprise because it's like you don't feel the same way about them. It's like that. It's hard to even explain that kind of bond, but I'm sure that you kind of know what I mean. It's like when you feel it, you feel it. When it's there, it's there. When it's not, it's not. And it's not necessarily a negative thing if it's not there, because the way my responsibility for those cats have always been the same. My love for those cats have always been there, just not as deep as it has been with, say, Midnight or Mystique. It's usually those cats. I usually get closer to those cats that want to get closer to me as well, the ones that love, the affection and all that. I can envision myself getting a bike and possibly go cycling around with him. The two of us love going on our early morning walks, and it's really added something to both of our lives. So I want to continue that. I want to keep adding some enrichment and fulfillment to both of us, and yeah, that's what I'm thinking in terms of our future, really. But yeah, I think that's enough for today. I've talked your ear off about my cat enough for now. I love this little guy. I hope I have many, many more years left with him. And I want to make some more ASMR videos with him as well. I'd like to do some eating videos. So we will see. Stay tuned, and let me know in the comments some of your cat stories as well, some cute things about your cats. I'd love to hear all about it. Thank you for listening.